America 3017. The ultra-conservative Manifest Party controls the government. And the government controls everything. Nevertheless, we persist. We resist. We step out of line and we unfollow.
Don't adjust your dials. The revolution may not be televised, but it is recorded in audio format. You are listening to Unfollow the Revolution, the podcast devoted to surviving in this hellhole we call America. I'm your host, Jack, accompanied by my very, very useful Nicolas Cage clone.
Hi, I'm back to UX813121, thanks to Tag.
Thank God.
Who showed me a movie from the vault, Con Air, where Nicolas Cage is named Cameron Poe. However, this week I did kind of want to try, based on last week, Clark was talking about secrets, and I think I found a secret out of my own, and it's this podcast and Jack. So I'm kind of a secret finder. So I thought maybe that could be my new backbone for a short story for my background. And you can call me Benjamin Gates 813121. How about that, Tag?
Oh, Benjamin Gates 813121.
Yeah, you like it? Rolls off the tongue? Easier for you this time?
I mean, it's, I think, more syllables. I don't want to...
Yeah, it's a lot longer. Also, who... Benjamin?
Benjamin Gates.
It sounds like you're choking on a cotton ball. Benjamin, what kind of name is that?
I feel like that was a name they use, y'all use a little bit, right?
Is that like a...
Oh, we can shorten it to Ben for short.
Is this like a you people thing?
Jag, a little bit, but Jack, Tag, how about Ben Gates? We'll shorten it for you. Ben Gates, 813121.
I hate it.
I feel like it's almost like, I almost feel like it's cultural appropriation.
Yeah,
and it's
exactly.
not even like correct.
It's like not Cage Face.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're a clone. Be a clone.
We're gonna try it out. We're gonna put it on. We're gonna put it on like a raincoat. We'll try it out.
I can be whatever I want to be. Tag.
Absolutely.
Isn't that? Yeah. All right.
All right. We'll try out Ben Gates.
Thank you.
All right. We'll try that. And also, we do have a very special guest who came in today. Please introduce yourself for the people at home.
Hey everybody at home, this is Dan Dre, promoter, agent, and fight coordinator extraordinaire for the UXC Championship Fighting League. How's everyone doing today?
We're doing good, we're doing good.
I'm being held hostage.
Awesome, I love it already.
Right? Well, we like to keep things a little interesting on this show. So the UXC, very important. You got a lot of big events coming up. We're going to get into detail about that a little bit later. But for right now, we're going to start off, as we always do, with some breaking news going on. All right. As we all know, President Chaz is finished up his first week in the presidency. And he has already decided to start things off with a celebration tour.
And I think long overdue. It's about time he celebrates his victory from a week ago. I think I think it was very modest of him to wait a full 7 days before launching a celebration tour, celebrating his victory and beginning his re-election campaign. But, you can't put it off forever.
Some have said that he's shown some restraint in that respect. Others have said not as much, as he is now going on a tour that he has dubbed America's Most Best Prez Fest, going from town to town, celebrating his own victory. And in fact, he has cut together a highlight reel of all of his achievements within his first week as office. However, most of them are actually just clips from America's Next Top President.
I really like that part of his highlight reel involves him cutting his own highlight reel, which I mean that's a really it's deep.
It's very ears on the ground, catching up things as they're happening.
I felt included too. Like, oh, I'm part of this now.
Unfortunately, it's been a bit of a rocky road, but for every storm there is a silver lining. He has actually set a record within his first week as president. He has had the most attempts on his life within 1 week, which is 4. He survived all of them. Man, he's wily.
Okay, I've seen the official reports, the same news reports you have. Those were not assassination attempts. His administration explained they were celebratory gunshots at a political rally. It was just alternative forms of congratulation, and some people died, as per often happens.
Yeah, we all know that instead of clapping, you have every right to fire your gun off.
Yes, like the very First Amendment in the Constitution, the Second Amendment states.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, you basically anything you do with a gun is fine. Are you going to trample my rights to express myself with a gun into a crowd?
I just feel like it's a little fishy. There's a lot of look. There's always a high mortality rate at any political rally.
Obviously,
we know this.
yeah.
But he's had a Secret Service changeover so many times.
No, I think he's keeping things fresh, and that's what I really wanted from a puppet president. I think it's not going to be politics as usual. We've never had a true literal puppet as a president, and I think a rapid turnover in personnel in the White House is exactly what we need.
I still think something's up. Although I do like his new personal bodyguard, Bones. He looks like a bad boy. I like that.
You know what I think's a little fishy though, Jack? These are official reports. Tag is quoting. Where is your news coming from? I've never quite understood that. Is it fake news?
It's not fake news. I go through the back channels and I find the real good stuff. All right? If you want to find the real truth, you got to go underneath everything. In fact, these are coming up, all right? The Manifest has announced a 50% fancy tax on all food from here on out. Now, they're trying to spin this as a very positive thing that we're getting the very best. But let's be honest. Let's speak truth to power. There's a food shortage, guys.
That's Listen to yourself.
Yes.
Oh, there's a food shortage. If there was some sort of food shortage, why would there be a luxury tax on food? That makes no sense. The very fact that they are taxing food as a luxury item means we have a ridiculous amount of it. It's at this point just a luxury that you eat.
This is just, you're being brainwashed, and it's so obvious. If there's not a lot of food, you raise up the price. That way it's harder to afford. According to the press release, which is exactly what you would want to hear, the manifest states, Americans are the best and only citizens on Earth, and as such deserve only the richest of meals. Now, would you rather save a few pennies on boring food or spend top bucks for the dankest of cuisine? We in the manifest have already made the right choice for you, so enjoy. Note, failure to enjoy is grounds for re-education? Really?
Yeah, I think if you don't finish all the food on your plate, sure, be re-educated. That's how it was in my household.
Look, as far as I know, in the bunker, in the command center, I'm not being a part of this, all right? Now,
So you're not eating?
no, I am eating a lot of cage jerky. I don't want to go into too many details, but I found a lot of burned cage corpses, and I have that preserved. That's going to keep for a really long time.
Okay.
We're a cage-only bunker.
Fine, I will continue eating.
Whatever we give you, Tag.
And also, don't.
Honestly, yeah.
I'll
that's-
continue to.
I was trying to bolster some sort of stand here. I really can't. I'm surviving solely because of what Scraps.
And
has
honestly,
given me.
this meat is fantastic. All the ways you can cook a cage.
It is.
Dan, have you ever cooked a cage?
Accidentally, it kind of happens in the ring sometimes. I mean,
Oh,
the
yeah?
cages get out there, they start fighting, and all of a sudden, bam, flamethrower goes off, and 3 dead cages smoldering in a pile. But you got to do something with the leftovers, right?
Wait, you know my brothers?
Oh yeah, the UXC. It's the UX Championship. We pit cages against cages against cages against cages. It's the best fighting experience you can imagine. From start to finish, it's just a brutal, vicious brawl.
It is technically illegal because those cages are government property.
Well, that's why I'm here. I love what you guys are doing. I love the message that you're bringing. I love how you're stepping to the manifest and trying to fight back for our rights, because
Thank you.
whenever I want to, I should be able to fight a cage, to kill a cage, to punch a cage and eat a cage. If I see a cage, I should have a cage, or kill a cage, or shoot a cage. Cages are not people. They're government property, and it's my tax dollars that own that government property.
Well, I have to say, a lot of what you're doing and saying is not really much different from what it went on in the cage camps. However, I have to disagree with us not being people. I mean, I think we all deserve the right to vote.
The official stance is Nicolas Cage clones are not people. You don't vote.
Well,
You're right. We
You
don't.
can't own property.
We can't. But that all is going to change under Jack and the Unfollow the Revolution.
But I'll push back on you a little bit, you see, because
No?
you say cages aren't people. Yet, as you mentioned earlier, if you shoot your gun in a crowd, well, that's okay. If a person dies while you're expressing your gun right, that's legal. But if a cage dies while you're expressing your gun right, that's destruction of government property. You're in the brig for 10 years. You've just stolen.
Indeed. Yeah. See, I think what he's trying to say, Ben Gates, is that they're not human until they get in that ring. And then they have that do or die, survive mentality that brings out the brutality and the viciousness that we all love to see in the UXC. So a cage that's on the brink of death will do whatever it needs to survive. I feel like you might know something about that. I mean, you lived in those farms. I'm sure it was cage eat cage world.
I've killed plenty of cages and eaten plenty of them too, but that doesn't mean that we don't, deserve some respect. I mean, especially if we're providing the people with entertainment, then I think we deserve more respect. Maybe lots of money, even.
Hey, look.
Whoa, hold on. I think paying cage athletes is ridiculous. It's a great opportunity for cages to be able to compete, and I think they should do it for the love of the sport.
It really taints the spirit of the game.
It does.
If they're being paid for it.
It does.
If we get paid, so you're saying that we should only be paid in experience?
Yeah, I mean, like your internship here,
Right.
Or all internships anywhere.
If you want a better gig, we don't technically pay, but we make sure you live it up until you die horribly. It's really a nice little trade-off. You have a good time, we have a good time, you stop having a good time, but you don't care anymore because you've just been stabbed.
Well,
You remember how I talked about how when I go out, I want to take everyone with me?
Yeah.
And I want to go out with a bang.
that's a noble cause.
Right, that's a heck of a way to go. That's basically a guarantee of what the UXE can offer you. And any one of those champs, who's the current champ right now?
That'd be UX5.
UX5. I've seen a few of his matches. I've caught it in on the band. I was actually at one of your live shows a little while ago. It was very impressive.
UX5. Now, see, the fun thing about the UXC is we take different martial arts styles and we apply them to the different UXs. That way, it's not really man versus man, it's art versus art, because they have no background to draw from. So you really get to see what the best styles are. And UX5 is a master of Derek Jeter Kundo. And man, when he lays down hard.
Oh, I remember. I took quite a beating from UX5 a couple times. He's one of the few that I didn't just outright kill.
Wow. Man.
You fought UX5?
Yeah, absolutely. I've fought probably. Who else do you have over there, actually?
Oh, we've got like 300 through 700. I mean, I travel the globe picking up UXs everywhere I can go, whether they're good condition, bad condition, whatever. I can find something to do with them.
Where do you find Nicolas Cage clones?
Well, I mean, if I gave away the secret, that it's not,
okay,
it's almost like the kind of guy who would break into a Nicolas Cage farm to steal himself a Nicolas Cage clone wouldn't want to tell how he broke into a Nicolas Cage farm to steal a Nicolas Cage clone.
Well, a gentleman never asks, a lady never tells. You know what I mean? I mean, there's always a guy. Let's just say that. Doesn't matter where you are, doesn't matter what you're looking for. There's always a guy.
Look, we both dabble in entertainment that isn't legal, and therefore, if you want to find us, you know a guy. I know a guy. Jack knows a guy. He's a good guy.
He's pretty good. He has a lot of weaknesses that can be exploited, and that's why he's a good guy.
So there's a guy you both know in common who hooked you up with rogue Nicolas Cages and government secrets?
And government workers sometimes, like when they get off work, like where they're gonna be.
Information about police raids.
Yeah, things like that. Detainings, executions, just whatever.
And just for our listeners at home,
Yeah.
Who is this guy and where could someone find him? Say someone in a position of authority.
I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing there.
Okay.
All right.
I'm gonna get the wrench again, aren't I?
Maybe later. We'll see. We got a lot of stuff. I don't know. We'll show you. We'll show you sometime. We got a lot of stuff.
I'm real excited.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Oh, that sounds fun.
So, where are we gonna be holding the UXC championship this year?
Well, this year, the championship is going to be in New Vegas in New York. But leading up to that, because that's not for a couple months, we're going to have bouts constantly going in all of our spots. In Old Vegas in Florida, in West Vegas in West Virginia, Big Vegas in Texas, Unnecessary Vegas in New Mexico, and in Cleveland. So if you guys can make it out, find the guy that you know. I'm sure you know a guy. We'll show you such a show.
It's going to be great. Tag, I can tell you're not really comfortable with all this. Have you ever actually seen a cage fight, though?
Of course not. It's not government approved, so I haven't seen it.
Of course you haven't, but if you manage to hear about it on like a shortwave radio...
I mean, technically my job is watching things that aren't government approved, so maybe if someone were to film one, and then I had to watch it to see if it belongs in the vault, I guess technically that's not treason on my part.
Exactly, yeah. So if you manage to have come across one of those videos...
I guess. I mean, I haven't.
Of course, right.
No, I really haven't.
All right.
I want to double check though that my brothers they're coming to you of their own free will. Yes, they're.
You think you have free will?
Oh, well, of course he does. Of course he does. Like, because when I liberated him, it was to free them. So, of course, Ben Gates 813121 has free will. You can do what you want. You've formed your own opinions. You've gone through at least 2 identities at this point.
Absolutely, yeah. And I at Jack's suggestion, I decided to work for him for no money and do whatever he says. So, I don't understand.
So you went from doing whatever the government says for no money to whatever Jack says for no money.
Yep.
All
yeah,
right.
But that was my choice.
Counteroffer. You could choose to come out of retirement and go up against UX5 for maybe some money?
Well, so what happens if I win?
Well, you keep fighting.
Okay. And then I win some more.
And you keep fighting.
Okay.
Until you don't.
Well, I'm not worried about not winning, but what about the people I beat? What happens to them?
Well, you kill them. And not the people, the UXs.
I have to?
Of course, it's to the death. That's what a cage fight is. It's in a cage with 2 cages. Or 4 cages.
All right, I can kind of see where this road is going, and I appreciate your moxie and your chutzpah. You're always looking for a deal. I get that, but
I'm pretty good at killing cages. And what are some of the perks?
Maybe you shouldn't sell yourself.
I'm feeling like the free market is at work here, and I think the invisible hand should just do what the invisible hand's going to do, Jack. I think you should stop interfering with your liberal agenda.
What? Look, this is just about I'm wanting to make sure everything's on the table. Dan, I know that the cage fight's the cornerstone of your business.
Sure.
Have you ever considered non-cage combatants joining into a cage fight?
Well,
I mean, think about it. I know it's art versus art, and I don't want to taint that at all, but
Are you suggesting tag teaming with me?
I think it would be my honor.
A tag
we
would
could
not like to
tag
be on a
team?
team. No,
Yep.
no, don't make a team with Tag.
3-man tag.
Tag does not want to be on a team.
3-man tag.
you know, it's ironic because historically, the whole reason I got into this business was originally I had legal problems with having people fight people. So I had cages fight cages to dodge the legal problems, which got me in more trouble. But yeah, we could take a step back and see if we could arrange something. I'm sure we could find someone for you to fight.
It just sounds dangerous.
Well, I mean, yeah, but so is life. Life is danger, and the way I see it, this is actually good for the cage clones. I'm gonna have to disagree with you a little bit. Being around them, they are people. I'm sorry, but they are. And if those people are willing to fight and die for not a lot of reward, I feel like the regular Joes out there on the street, like me and all of my devoted listeners, they should be willing to fight and die themselves. Is that too much to ask? To fight for, like, food?
You know, now that I think about it, yeah, because you've been talking about fighting the manifest and fighting for freedom, and if instead you just want to fight for entertainment and money, I'm on board. I'm fine with that. I think that's a better use of your time and everyone's time.
We keep our big guns for the big fights. And it's the same approach here. If everyone in the country wants to get up and fight, maybe they should fight for something a little more than some yucks. That's what the cages are for. I can laugh at them dying.
Well, I don't know about the laughing when they die.
Well, it does mean more food, so
Well, look,
there's definitely joy in a cage dying for sure. It's a great honor to die because then you'll be eaten.
That's true. I can't sell real people for food. You don't want tag jerky. You don't want jack jerky.
no.
Very true, you don't.
I feel like tag jerky's gonna be kind of gamey. I mean, no offense. I just feel like
it's also really salty.
yeah.
I've got a condition.
I kind of like salt though, like a lot of salt. So
I know this is more salt than you're thinking. I mean, I can't stop you.
well, I'm just saying instead of the
Well,
wrench.
Dan, I know about your pursuits, business. I love and respect it, but you know, I'm down here in the front lines trying to fight the good fight. I mean, surely you might also know a guy who could hook me up with some, some unfollow contacts maybe, or, help out with some fights, some raids, some terrorist attacks. Well, freedom fighter attacks. You know how it is.
Please, Mr. Gray, help Jack find that very real revolution called Unfollow that we all know is real. Wink, wink.
I have a couple of times met some people who hinted that they might be a part of the organization, but nobody has ever given me anything official, and mostly they gave me some kind of junk about cages are people and we could use them for a higher cause and blah, 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 blah.
Well, I mean, they're not wrong. If we're being honest, I kind of agree with them. I think that the cage fights are great, but if we were to get those cages and unite them, make them into a solid fighting force and point them somewhere, I mean, who could stop them, right?
Well, the other cages. Because I own some cages. I own a couple of 100 cages, but the government, the manifest, owns thousands and thousands of cages.
Possibly millions, actually, going by the numbering system of UX813121.
And that's just the ones that are publicly known. There are secret cage camps where they learn different stuff. I've seen chef cages. I've seen maid cages. I've seen Chipotle cages.
I have a lot more to learn, a lot of camps to go to and be schooled.
Well, it'll be all right. Ben Gates 813121. You don't have to worry about schools or anything like that. You'll learn it with us. All right?
I think I should go with Dan. I think that I can show him that cages are real people.
I don't think maybe that's not good.
Oh, what's the problem, Jack? People having too much freedom around you?
What? No.
You worried about people making choices for themselves? Think maybe they should submit to an authority?
No, I think everyone should be allowed to make their own choices. Okay. But really? I do think that also, what we've been in so much conversation about the greatness of the UXC and the humanity of clones and all that stuff. We're running out of time. We need to move on to what has now become a regular segment. We need to go to the vault tag.
You're gonna make me log back into work.
Hell yeah, I am.
I'm really at this point. It's been a couple of weeks. I'm shocked they haven't changed my password.
Well, maybe they're not as on top of things as you think they are.
I do actually leave a jacket on the back of my desk.
Uh-huh.
So when I leave the office, people think, oh, maybe Tag's still here, so it looks like I'm working late when I'm not.
So you've been on like a month-long coffee break?
I mean, I would hope after this much time they've noticed Tag's really gone.
Yeah, I'm sure they're sending out search parties. What do we have this week, Tag?
Okay. Well, as we're talking about learning, we're talking about Ben going out and learning from all the different farms. Got me thinking about one of my favorite movies about schools and the way schools used to be.
Nerd.
I can't tell from this movie who was running the schools, but it's obviously not the government because they're pretty crappy. And I know the government would not run a ship this loose. So we're going to watch Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Okay.
Now, let me go back. A day off is an ancient term that means a day you don't work.
Okay.
Yeah.
They had a word for that?
Yeah.
So like
apparently
death?
It happened often enough.
Wait, he's right. Like death?
No, not like death. Like you're still alive, you don't work one day, and then you go to work another day.
So a coma.
No. This is, you're just allowed to stop working.
So like when you're on like America's Best Press Fest tour.
This isn't when you get special government
This is a kidnapped thing. I get why you're into it.
Oh, okay.
No. I don't know how to explain this. Okay. They weren't kidnapped. They don't get special government permission to leave work. They're not in a medically induced coma for weight loss. This is, you work out a deal with your employer and you're allowed to just not work some days.
All right, I can kind of see why this would be banned because it makes no sense.
Yeah, well, anyway, you're gonna really see why it's banned in a minute. Okay, let's start Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I'll just type in here,
All right.
find it in the vault, and... Hey, Ben,
Yep. What's up?
can we get some of that cage popcorn?
I
You know what? Mr. Gray.
Yeah, maybe he's brought.
Do you have
cage with
some cage flavor snacks?
Maybe a little bit of cage on you.
I never go too far without some cage cinnamon.
Yeah?
Oh, it's not cinnamon.
Can I get some Junior Cage mints? All right. Well, let's get this started.
All right.
Hi, this is Big John of the Papa John family. 117th of his name, the defender of cheese and a breaker of breadsticks. For the last 1,000 years, you know us for two things: delicious pizza and big game trophy hunting. And now for a limited time, a very limited time, we're offering our Rhino Marinara Pizza. Delicious, I tell you. You don't like marinara? No big deal. We got it on our White Supreme Pizza, the superior choice. So buy Papa John's. If you don't, I start euthanizing drivers again.
All right, that was Ferris Bueller's Day Off. So what'd you guys think?
I mean, it was interesting. Mm-hmm. I like the Ferris guy. He's kind of like...
I thought you would. So Ferris Bueller is what I'm going to refer to as a demon child.
What?
He is... I'm going to go beyond criminal. He is a terrorist. He is a flat-out... the parade he takes over, that is a public demonstration. They had permits they had to file.
Yeah.
That was difficult to organize, and he just hijacks it. Completely takes it over.
He united the whole community, though.
Yes, he did. Exactly.
With
The
that
entire
one move.
town was rallied around him.
Oh yeah, the town. So you get a little glimpse of what Chicago used to be like before it just became one giant improv scene.
And before it was just a wretched hive of scum and villainy.
I've heard reports, yeah, people going into Chicago now and they just get pulled into a scene and you never hear from them again. They've sent researchers in to try and they're all missing. Every single scientist has gone in.
Just besieged by bearded men in plaid shirts and glasses. Just
You get an invitation to one show and then that's it. Never see you again.
I remember I heard one friend, he was just out in the wilderness around there. And he just, from the woods, he just kept hearing people asking for suggestions.
You can't get too close to the city. That's why there's the quarantine now.
It's almost refreshing to see a Chicago before the Chicago that is, you know? People were happy then.
It's a little bit, that's one of the small reasons that I had to ban this movie is I don't want people asking the questions about Chicago. it's better off forgotten about.
It's fair.
Anyway,
yeah.
This demon kid. All right. Aside from acts of terrorism, let's get to his personal lifestyle choices. He lies to his parents. He tortures his sister psychologically. He has brainwashed, and I use the brainwash in the bad term, bad usage of brainwash. Now brainwash his entire school and community that they're all in love with this kid. He's got a cult following, and his poor teachers, especially Principal Rooney, who is just trying to do his job, just an authority figure trying to curtail freedom the way an authority figure should, and this kid is just wrecking his life.
This principal is not acting like you think he is, just trying to curtail something. This man is acting with vengeance and hate in his heart. He specifically wants to ruin Ferris Bueller's entire life, his future.
No, Principal Rooney is exactly... Look, I watch the way he behaves with this one kid, this one troubled student that he is trying to save, and I don't have kids, guys, but if I did, I would want a man like Principal Rooney looking after them. when Ferris is running through the neighborhood and Principal Rooney's chasing after him and he's just hunting this kid through the neighborhood.
Yeah, I would say the skills that Rooney shows they're almost predatory in nature.
Exactly. He's like a predator for children. And it's exactly the kind of caretaker I would want for my kid and the kind of caretaker I think America's kids deserve.
Look, I see that there are a lot of pluses and a lot of pros to child predators. I'm not gonna try and dispute that, all right? But I feel that you're totally misinterpreting Ferris. He is not brainwashing these people. He doesn't have a cult of personality around them. He's giving this town something to believe in, something to work towards, to work together as a community towards a greater good. And sure, that good is himself and saving himself. But I think through their own endeavors, trying to work for something else, they've benefited. They've enriched their own lives.
Well, his friend certainly did. Cameron became a better person.
A better person? Cameron destroyed a car worth, with inflation, I can't even imagine, 400, 500,000 manifest bucks?
I mean, but Cameron still threw off the shackles that his father had placed on him.
Exactly. He threw off the shackles of authority. And he's his own man, and he's probably going to get killed for it. But that's okay, because he's going to die.
Probably by Ferris when he sleeps with Ferris's girlfriend / eventual
You picked
wife.
up on that. A lot of people missed that. A lot of people missed that. Good job.
No, he was totally in on it the whole time.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was clear.
Like they had some action going on.
She was pushing right back though. Absolutely.
Oh no, I mean it takes two to tango, and there was some music playing.
No, that was intentional.
Yeah, good. I'm glad we're all on board.
I don't know. I think that the movie has a lot of very important things to say. Do you remember when they're on that skyscraper and they're looking down? They say it looks so peaceful, and they say from 1,500 feet up everything looks peaceful. That's what the manifest thinks, because they're so high up, they're so above the working man that they think everything's fine. They don't see the chaos what's going on down there. They don't see how all we really want to do is just throw a parade and sing a song and have an organized dance number.
So you're saying
that's all you want to do? You want to throw a parade, sing a song, and have an organized dance number. I mean, this is the first time I've heard you actually say something you want to do.
I mean, to start, that would be great.
Honestly, this whole program, all I've heard you is rail against things. The first thing I've heard you actually be for, other than some tangential or untouchable idea of freedom.
Okay, all right.
Is the first concrete thing I've heard you say.
I want freedom, and I want a very tightly choreographed and well-rehearsed dance number in a public space. Is that too much to ask?
That's my America.
What I found interesting was that even in this time, the world still had that maximum punishment for a daughter who was speeding. I don't know if you remember the father saying nonchalantly to his wife after she complained about that they should shoot her. I'm actually surprised that this past that you seem to look back to all the time, Jack,
right,
as some sort of something on a pedestal still has that law around.
Look, it was a simpler time, but there were still a few things. But overall, I think that through all these things that we've seen, America was a much more wholesome place. There was a lot more small town values.
See, that is an illusion created by what we're watching art, and you're trying to get a good idea of history, and it's creating a false illusion. You're looking at the past through rose-colored glasses. Before the manifest, America was a terrible, terrible place.
I don't think so.
We didn't have cage farms. We didn't have reality shows nonstop. We had to vote for presidents. Do you know how difficult voting was? Just months, years of just nonstop barrages of facts and figures and opinions and yelling. It was terrible.
I think
we are better off.
But that's how you have to win. You have to call in extra numbers. You have to fake being sick. You have to hack into a school system and take away your absent days. You have to pretend that your girlfriend's grandmother died. You have to impersonate her father and then make out with her in front of the principal. These are things you have to do.
Or you could just follow the rules, keep your head down, live a small, simple life in servitude to a higher power, be that peaceful world that you can see, or you can't, but someone can see from 1,500 feet up.
So I think you're recommending we all be Cameron without Ferris.
Yes. I think Cameron, other than the corrupting influence of Ferris, is the hero of the story. I mean, he's the victim. It's a tragic tale of Cameron's corruption making this terrible deal with the devil named Ferris Bueller.
Agree to disagree. I feel that Cameron, of course, would be almost like a childhood hero for you if you had known about him as a kid.
I could also hit him with a wrench until he agrees.
Ooh, you could do that.
Until he, chooses.
Right,
to
yeah,
agree.
yeah.
I could get good money for video of that.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Money?
Oh,
Yes.
good money. I mean, I could get good money.
Oh,
That was a singular.
right.
Right.
We could do like a shout out for like the thing on the video.
We can definitely connect the dots there. We can make that work.
We can do
make it
some
work.
branding on that. That's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
We'll get paid that way. That's
Yeah,
good.
we can make it work.
Yeah, all right.
Can we vote on whether or not we hit me with the wrench?
As long as all my Cage brothers can vote. Dan?
You know, I think with just the four of us right here, we can do a vote. All right, vote to not hit tag with a wrench. Anyone to not hit?
I would like to vote for. I'm trying to raise my hand.
Your hand
Okay,
is... No,
all right, we're gonna-
But
we're-
it's not in the air.
Well, you know what? Just for the benefit of it, we're just gonna log it as a yes. All right, those in favor of hitting tag with a wrench? Aye.
Aye.
That's 3-1. See, that's democracy. We're having fun, guys.
This is great.
Right?
People get things done together.
Cages
Exactly.
and people. I mean, cages are people, and we work together. And my vote helped make that happen.
See?
I just want you
He's
to
not wrong.
recognize that.
Well, wait. Let's pretend it's a different world. Sorry. Let's pretend it's a different world. Let's pretend it's one where cages don't get a vote because they're not people.
Okay,
So there are
but-
four of us here.
Hypothetically-
one of us is a cage. So ignore the cage.
This is getting better for me.
Who's
This is
not
getting
in
better
favor
for me. I like this.
of
I
hitting
like where this is
tag
going.
with that?
All right,
hypothetically, I'll let
once
it
again,
play out.
I am not in favor of hitting tag with a wrench.
Benefit
Okay.
of the argument and doubt. We'll give them the argument.
All right,
That's
all right.
one, one against
and,
hitting.
And UX
and
can't
four,
vote.
I won't vote, just for hypothetical.
Aye.
2-1.
right.
Motion passes. Your input was irrelevant.
I demand
Okay.
a recount.
All right, let's try and meet me halfway here. All
Meeting
right.
you halfway.
How about for the purposes of voting, we will declare a cage 1/8 of a person's vote. How about that?
I'll allow it.
Okay.
I think there's enough of us that the numbers would work out pretty well for us. So yeah, I'll go for that too.
I think
It's
it's good.
better than nothing.
Good
Better
compromise,
than
good
nothing.
compromise.
Good compromise. See, we're making
Yeah.
things work
Good
by
time.
working
Yeah.
together.
Yes.
All right.
I like this.
Right.
I like this.
All right. Well, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna after we finish recording, we'll get some video of that.
Well, that'll be something to look forward to. Good.
It really will be. I think we're all gonna have a lot of fun with that. Before we finish out for the evening, we usually have a little segment here. If anyone has any questions or comments, concerns about what's going on, we have a special segment for that. And if-
Absolutely. If that's the case, you can please send us an email at unfollowtherevolution@gmail.com. You can also tweet us at unfollowtherevo, REVO. Please do, and let us know. Let us know if you think cages have the right to vote, or if they should be considered 1/8 of a person. But all right. So here we go. Our first email here is going to be from. It looks like he says he's an easily distracted fan, but it says, "Dear Jack." He's a big fan. He's been looking forward to something like this for months now, and he's got to ask, how do you know that Tag? He calls you a media janitor, by the way, Tag. Wasn't purposely set up for you guys to kidnap so that the manifest could get an inside scoop on your plans. I'd be wary of that guy. Seems too calm in the face of being kidnapped. Sincerely, an easily distracted fan.
Well, easily distracted fan, thank you for your concern. It's always nice to know that people out there care. Now, I always like to keep my head on a swivel. There's enemies everywhere. There's always someone trying to snoop us, all that. The thing that I'm not worried about, with Tag in particular, number one, I had a guy who helped me out with that. And number two, Tag as a government worker is very, very susceptible to just being shouted at until he obeys something, right?
I will agree to that. Yeah, I am. One of the things that makes me such a good government employee is I am a natural follower.
See, that's the thing. If you can kind of use their own stuff against them, it works out really well for you and you get a lot of good stuff. So what I would suggest to you is always keep your head on a swivel. Always keep a good, 360-degree kind of panorama for yourself. But if you ever see like a low-level guy, like just a regular janitor, not a media janitor. I really like that one, by the way. I'm probably going to keep that one in the back pocket. That was really good.
It's really offensive.
Yeah, well,
I went to school for a long time.
Nerd. All right. But if you find a regular janitor or anything like that, and you can kind of get them away from everyone, just yell at them. Just yell at them and be like, hey, give me your money. And they'll do it because they're very susceptible to they'll just follow you. They'll just listen to you.
You're literally promoting mugging people now.
I'm promoting showing people that just following is not correct. That's why I'm a fan of Unfollow. It's not about just listening to what's being shouted at you violently and aggressively. It's about standing up and saying no, much like Cameron did when he's probably gonna die when his dad comes home and he's probably gonna get thrown out of that, like, tall building into the forest.
Maximum punishment.
Exactly. But it'll be worth it, right? Do you have any tips on, keeping your head down around things like that? I'm sure people have tried to infiltrate your UXC rings.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the first step is to send a cage at them. That's what
Okay.
I always do. If I'm not sure about somebody, I find a spare cage and I send them right at them. I usually arm them with a fidget spinner or something and just see what happens. Because, anybody that's going to be in that level of position from the manifest to infiltrate or kind of entrap you or catch you in some kind of anything is going to have training, right? That's going to be somebody with cat-like reflexes, ninja-like skills, and super abilities. If it's, a media janitor, then the cage is just gonna raffle stomp him. It's just gonna be terrible.
Right,
he's gonna roll over him like a milk truck over a milkman. It's just gonna be the saddest thing you've ever seen. So if you have a spare cage, I recommend just throw down. Or
If we can't get the job done, another one can. Just throw another cage at it.
That's a
He'll-
fair point.
He'll do it or he won't, and then you just keep going.
Yeah, if you can get your hands, if you can get a spare cage, go for it. There's actually quite a few roaming around the area. I would act fast though, because I feel like my man Dan over here.
I'm doing what I can.
He's gonna
I'm
grab
doing what
them.
I can.
He's getting them.
Speaking of that, if that contract is on the table, I'm really highly considering that. I really think that I could show you a lot.
I've always got a place in the organization for a willing, honest, or not honest, dishonest even, because we put you under guard and under lock and key and under gun, so it's fine. But whatever. A cage that's willing to put it all on the line, you got a spot.
As soon as I can start making some money, we'll talk.
Well, yeah.
Well, you don't like to give money, and I know you like to get the money. I think we're at something of a standstill. I don't think Ben Gates.
Well, I don't get money from you either, so.
Well, true.
Actually,
but
what are the perks, Dan? What are the perks?
The apartments we set our cages up in are very luxurious.
They're not that
Full screen holovids, assistants, cleaning service. Now, you are expected to train 3 to 35 hours a day.
It's a lot of work.
Minimum.
That's as much as I was doing in the camp, and you make me sleep in a broom closet, so rather stand, I guess, in a broom closet.
UX gets a broom closet?
Do you not want the buckets? We
I
can
want
get
the
rid of the
buckets.
buckets. Okay.
I want the buckets.
All right. Because we can get rid of the
No,
buckets.
please don't get rid of the buckets.
They are a luxury.
For us, it depends on how successful you are. That's really the bottom line is, look, if you come into the organization and you're not putting on a good show and nobody likes watching you, well, you're not going to get the grade A treatment. You're going to get probably a hose, right? But if you do good work, and I mean really good work, if you're bringing people, we might be able to put it up to a saint.
I'm so at the lowest level, you get a hose?
That's correct.
Oh, well, I mean, I haven't had a bath since I got in here. That's fantastic. I don't know why I should say no at this point.
Look, let's as my intern, let's just consider me something of a manager, maybe an agent who perhaps has power of attorney. We can talk about this off the air. How about that?
Technically, under manifest law, if you're his intern, he does get to decide when your internship ends, and you can't leave ahead of time.
I did sign
Re-education camps are
In
full of people who broke their internship contracts.
Yeah, that's a thing. So
Yeah.
we'll crunch some numbers. We'll see. Maybe we can do like a
cross-promotion.
week camp or something.
Sure.
Yeah, we could do something like that. Maybe. How about
trade
that?
You
back
could
and
hook me
forth.
up with the hose, and I think a cross promotion thing would be
Okay.
great. I'm actually kind of liking this.
All right. Well,
Tell you what, why don't you give me some details? I need to know what fighting styles you're good at, if it's karate or kung fu or emo-jitsu or what it is that you do. But you let me that stuff, and, we'll see if we can't work something out. We'll promote the hell out of it.
we'll crunch out some details while I go show you all the implements we have. We're gonna go beat tag with a wrench, record it, do a little bit of promotion there.
Love it.
Yeah, I've been thinking, and I think it's time I confess that I have been a manifest spy the whole time. You caught me, you clever, clever man. And
All right.
I guess the worst thing you could do is foil the manifest plan by letting me go. Ow! Ooh!
All right.
Oh, wow. That's going in the bucket.
He's flexible.
Well, for Unfollow the Revolution, I'm Jack.
I'm Ben Gates, 813121.
I'm Tag. And I'm Dan Dre from the UXC.
And we'll see you next time. I'm gonna try it a few times now. You want in on this, Dan?
Oh, does that move?
We might have gone a little too far.
Unfollow the Revolution is created and performed by David Gossett, Ben Mitchell, and David Nair. Produced by ROCKPUNCH. Intro music by Alan Hanks. Voiceover by Kate Rasnick. We'd like to thank our special guest this episode.
Tony Caston as Dan Dre.
If you'd like to join Jack's fight against the Manifest, please support the American Civil Liberties Union at www.aclu.org, because the best way to fight tyranny in the future is to protect freedom in the present.